Good afternoon, dear participants. Thank you all for joining in. Bhavnik, Bhavna, Deena, Nimesh, Parvati, Pranav, Sandra, Sapna, Tushar, Udhav, Zarna Forum, Hiral. Thank you all for joining in today. It's time. It's a lovely afternoon and time to begin with our today's webinar. The ability to move through a U process as a team, an organization, or a system requires a new social technology presenting an inner journey and intimate connection that helps to bring forth a new world. Connecting to one's best future possibilities and creating powerful breakthroughs ideas requires the intelligence of the heart and the hand, not just the intelligence of the head. Successful leadership depends on the quality of attention and intention that the leader brings to any situation. Two leaders in the same circumstances doing the same thing can bring about completely different outcomes depending on the inner place from which each operates. Today, let's hear it from our speaker on how Theory U can help in addressing these challenges. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2020 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Theory U of Leadership, Leading from the Future as it Emerges. For HRAI events and details, I would request all our participants to visit the link shared in the chat window. For an effective session, do follow the webinar guidelines as mentioned in the chat window. Kindly help us with your feedback. It is important to us. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. Our today's speaker is serving as a labor administrator for the last 23 years. And at present, he is a joint labor commissioner with the government of West Bengal. He has done LLB from Calcutta University and diploma in social work from IISWBM. He has also done MBA in HR. He is a national resource person for training need analysis and facilitation skills. He has done TNA for the Block Administrative Center of Sikkim and Employment Directorate of Government of West Bengal. He is a life member of ISTD and NHRDN. He is none other than Mr. Kalol Dutt. Do feel free to follow him on LinkedIn. Details for the same are shared in the chat window. Without taking much time, I now welcome Mr. Kalol Dutt to take over this session. Over to you, Mr. Dutt.
Uh, Thank you, Peterson, and good afternoon to all the participants. I know it is very unlikely for a labor administrator to speak on leadership, but I'm sure those who are not initiated to this theory U of leadership will find it interesting, in fact, fascinating. It changed my life, and it may change your perspective on life too. I will share my screen just a minute. So our today's topic is Theory U, leading from the future as it emerges. Now I'm directly entering into the topic. Now this U is not YOU, it is U. That shape is important. How we dive deep within ourselves and then resurface, co-create the future. That is today's topic. And hopefully it will change your perspective. What is needed is your attention and intention. Attention to what is being shared and intention of co-creating the learning. We will have a question and answer session, but even during the session, if you find any opinion, not necessarily question, any opinion, observation, whatever you may like to share, do share, because learning is never a one-way process. Now, for those who love a bit of theory, a bit history, the theory is a change management method, but forget about change management. Targeting leadership as a process of inner knowing. That point is important, inner knowing. Our education system has molded us in such a way that knowledge has become something external. Now here in theory, we will realize that knowledge is basically internal. It emerges within ourselves. So first is inner knowing. And social innovation developed by Otto Scharmer and originally based on a process known as the U process, developed by Dr. Frederick Glassell and Dirk Lemson of Netherlands Pedagogical Institute in 1968 and presented systematically from 1980. This much is not important. If you search Google, you will get a better history of this theory. The theory U, as I have understood it, I will share it with you. And your perception on theory U may vary. Your takeaway from this session may also vary from person to person. And that is good because all of us are unique personality. We will start with death and end with birth. A new me, a new we may give birth to at the end of the session, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Now, what is usually in offline sessions, I interact a lot, but I think from my experience, I have understood that interaction at this level is not that much beneficial. So I will be on a lecture mode. But if you have something interesting to say, don't hesitate. Now, what it is to do death with leadership? Is there any connection? Anyone want to say something? The connection between death and leadership? I'm trying to be a bit interactive. Let's see if it works. Is there any connection between death and leadership? How do we describe death? If you think, we describe death as, is there something in the chat box? No. We describe death as someone has passed away, or left for his heavenly abode. So death basically means we are going from one phase to another phase, or one place to another place. This is how we describe death. Now in leadership, what happens? The leader also leads us, the team, the country, the follower, from one place to another place, from present to future. So that is the link between death and leadership. And there is also a linguistic connection. The Indo-European root word of leadership is leth. Leth means to cross the threshold or to die. So I think we usually do not link death with leadership, but there is a strong link between death and leadership. Death is not a negative concept. It means we are crossing a threshold. We are going to a better place. So is the job of the leader. Now, if you look around, think about this pandemic in India, think about the condition of the migrant workers, think about the alienation we are in, think about the alleged suicide of Sushant Singh Rajput. He has everything, but he committed suicide. What is lacking? Where is the problem? Where is the issues? So Otto Scharmer, who proponed this theory U of leadership, he identified three disconnections. Three divide. Sorry for the background noise. It's a train line is nearby. We are suffering from leadership and institutional failure throughout the world. Think about the presidential election in US. See the overall situation in your own city, town, village, country, everywhere there is leadership failure. Present society is suffering from three divides. One is ecological divide, disconnect between self and nature. Second is social divide, disconnect between self and other. Third is spiritual divide, disconnect between self and self. Actually, we have become disconnected with our own self. We are running for everything outside, external things so much that we have lost connection with ourselves. After getting everything that we wish for, that we want, we commit suicide. Where is the problem? Whenever we think about leadership, we focus on, again, Otto Sharma's basic point is that we usually focus on what, that is the result, then the process, how. But we neglect the most vital point in any leadership process, the leader himself, the core from which he operates. This is the blind spot of all leadership theories. We focus on what, how, but who, that we never look into. And not only who, the person is important, we have to go into the person's inner core, the source from which the person operates. If you think about all the great leaders, if you think about his skills, his ability, how he does things, usually we analyze in that way, and sometimes we want to follow them also. But that will not bring that result. Because if you think about all the great leaders, be it political or in any other field, you will realize that they are not, in management literature, ideal leaders. They may have many qualities, but they have many drawbacks also. But they are successful. Why? Because the inner place from where they operate is different. They are in touch with themselves. So from this angle, we will try to follow three great leaders. There are many great leaders. I have identified three. What differentiates Gandhi, Mandela, and Gautam Buddha from others? Or you may say, why Gandhi, Mandela, and Gautam Buddha? Mandela means Nelson Mandela. All three are great leaders, undoubtedly. They have many followers. But what they did actually, if you think about Gandhi, now again, this is not a session on Gandhi, this is a session on theory U. So my analysis, you may not agree, but set these things apart. The purpose of analyzing Gandhi's leadership is to understand theory U. What Gandhi did? Gandhiji, many persons can say that Satyagraha, non-violence, etc. That is what he did. But actually what he did is he spoke a lot. His method was civil disobedience. He fasted a lot. He walked a lot. So he walked, talked, and sometimes he did not talk also. Monobrata. He refused to eat. All are, in our parlance, not very active activity. They're a passive activity. But he was successful to touch the hearts of millions of Indians. Think about Mandela. Most of his life, he was in jail. How he became the leader? What he did, whatever he did as a prisoner, other prisoners also did. So what is the difference between even other leaders? It is not that only Nelson Mandela was in prison. There are other leaders with him of almost equal stature, but he became the leader. Why? Think of Gautam Buddha. What Gautam Buddha did, again, he walked and he preached. He walked and he talked. So is this the magic of leadership? You walk and you talk, and sometimes you do fasting. Is this sufficient? What is the magic? Think about Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha's first turning point, he was a prince. He was married to a beautiful lady. He had a son. But he left everything. Why he left everything? First turning point. Because he saw misery. Misery of old age, weakness, etc. 3 incidents. Why those 3 incidents touched him? Because he was compassionate. He was connected to the people who were suffering. The sufferings were not his own. He just saw the suffering, but his empathy was so high that he felt the pain. And it moved him out of his home. First. Second, what he did nothing. He meditated, means he did nothing. He was within himself. What is the result? The truth, that inner knowing emerged. And he became Gautam Buddha. He preached and talked, but again, if you preach, you talk, you will not become Gautam Buddha. We will not become Gautam Buddha. Because that inner core, that blind spot, that is the main thing. Whether we are operating for our inner core, that is important. Then Gandhiji. For Gandhiji, I will show you a video clip. Just have, I don't know how, I have to stop sharing, I think, then reshare, no? Just a minute. Is it visible? Is the video visible? Peter.
Tell me, do you think about hell? No, neither do I. But this man here is a Christian, and he's written that in order to believe...
Excuse me, sir. How long have you been in South Africa?
A week.
I don't know how you got a ticket.
Just what are you doing in this car, Willie?
I have a ticket. A first-class ticket.
How did you get hold of it?
I sent for it in the post. I'm an attorney, and I didn't have time...
There are no colored attorneys in South Africa. Go and sit where you belong.
I'll take your luggage back, sir.
No. Just a moment, please. You see? Mohandas K. Gandhi, attorney at law. I'm on my way to Pretoria to conduct a case for an Indian trading firm.
Didn't you hear me? There are no colored attorneys in South Africa.
Sir, I was called to the bar in London and enrolled at the High Court of Chancery. I am, therefore, an attorney. And since I am, in your eyes, colored, I think we can deduce that there is at least one colored attorney in South Africa.
Smart bloody Kaffir. Throw him.
Just move your black ass back to third class, or I'll have you thrown over the next station.
But I always go first class. I've traveled all...
Yeah. You know, can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you. We are not able to see the video.
You are not being able to see the video?
Yeah, we are not able to see the video.
So you have to stop share and then uh,
Anyway, let
You
it be,
have
let
to
it be.
I
Optimized.
optimize it.
I optimized. Let's see next time. Just a minute. Now the sharing has stopped, no? So
Yeah.
I have to again share that.
Yes.
None of you could see that. Anyway,
Yeah, we couldn't.
it was a scene from the film Gandhi, where the Gandhiji was thrown out of the train in South Africa for traveling in first class. Because in South Africa, they did not like black colored people traveling in first class. But Gandhiji had a valid ticket. But he was thrown out of the train in an unknown place in a winter night. Try to imagine yourself in that position. How will you feel? Any ordinary man would have cried, would have expressed his anger in some other place, on some weaker person, maybe his subordinate, his spouse, or whoever it may be. But I am reading it out from Gandhiji's own book, what he did say. I began to think of my duty. Should I fight for my rights to go back to India? Should I go on to Pretoria without minding the insults and return to India after finishing the case? It would be cowardice to run back to India without fulfilling my obligation. The hardship to which I was subjected was superficial, only a symptom of the deep disease of color prejudice. I should try, if possible, to root out the disease and suffer hardship in the process. Redress for wrongs I should seek only to the extent that would be necessary for the removal of the color prejudice. See the way he is processing the insult. He has gone deep into the root of the problem. It is no longer his personal insult. It is an insult on the colored people because of some prejudice. Throughout that night, he was in the station, shivering in the cold, and he was again within himself. And next morning in Pretoria, he gathered the Indian people there and the movement started. This is very important how he processed the whole thing. Am I audible? I think again problem.
so you're audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. And the screen is visible?
Yeah, the screen is visible, but
okay. Video, okay. Video is not coming. Anyway, now think about Nelson Mandela. I think for 34 years, he was in jail, in prison. Many other persons were in prison also. And for those who know, you know that initially he was a leftist. He believed in armed struggle, but later on he became a believer in non-violent movement. What changed him? How he became a leader being in the jail? How he became the face of the apartheid movement? Again, all the other prisoners, political prisoners, behave the same way, but his core was differently processed. If you go into the inner core of Nelson Mandela, you will see something different. He was in touch with himself. He was not, again, like Gandhiji, he did not go for revenge. When he came out of the jail, he was welcomed by the white citizens also. He could identify, he could bring himself out from his own ego. Again, like Gandhiji, his personal insult became a general thing. In case of Nelson Mandela also, he did not call for vengeance over the whites, but he fought for the equality. In spite of suffering, in spite of staying in jail for most of his productive period. So my point is, you have to dive deep within yourself to become a leader, to become an effective leader. We always focus on, to be effective in leadership or in any field, we always focus on the activity, on where or what we should do, how we should do. The point of Theory U is go into your core, be in touch with yourself, and if you can become in touch with yourself, you will be in touch with all. There's a word in Theory U, it is called presencing. When you are present and sensing, when you are in the now, that will become later. Again, as the caption of this topic was that leading from the future as it emerges. Another interesting concept about learning that Otto Scharmer said. One is learning. This is the type A learning is we are habituated to that. Learning by reflecting on the experiences of the past. The present moment is shaped by what has been. Always we look for trend. What was there before? Then we, on the basis of our experience, will unfold. This is one way of seeing things.
Mr. Dutt?
There is another way of seeing things also.
Mr. Dutt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the screen is blurred. You'll have to stop that optimization.
Okay. Again, I have to.
Yes.
I understand. I have to stop optimization.
Yes. For the video, we can have that optimization on, but for
Right. Now it is okay, no?
Yes, it's perfect.
So, and second point is learning from the future as it emerges. It is called presencing. Think about this pandemic period. We were actually, even now, during the lockdown period, the frustration, the desperation was much more. We are trying to get the previous normal back in our life. We were thinking about recovery. Even at present also, we are talking about recovery of economy, recovery of life. Recovery means actually going back to pre-lockdown, pre-pandemic stage. Why? The focus of Theory U is that take the present situation as a gateway for the future, for the emerging future. The fact that I am talking here with you all is a product, is a effect, is a result of this pandemic and this lockdown. Webinar was there earlier also, but now webinar has become the only way to connect. See, the world of possibilities is opening up. If we look back, we will stop the emerging future from emerging. We will try to bring ourselves back to that previous position. We always try to follow the trend, but there are periods of discontinuity. Think about metamorphosis of caterpillar to butterfly. When the caterpillar is within the cocoon, it's a period of discovery. he has become what he should become. Now, if you think that no, it is not right, he's suffering, then there will be no butterfly. So again, theory U is focusing on the future. One is focusing within yourself, and second is focusing to the future. Seeing the present as a gateway to the emerging future. How to know the emerging future? How to know the emerging future is called presencing. Through presencing, we can anticipate the future. Think about the game of football. Think about the penalty kick, the goalkeeper, just before the shot being taken. Where is his mind? Is he thinking? No. He is actually in a meditative state. He is totally in the present and within himself. And the best goalkeepers, they can anticipate the kick, in which direction it will come. How they can anticipate? Because their attention and intention is much more intense than other goalkeepers. Same with the person who is taking the kick. There are many more examples. Another concept is this. This can be applied anywhere that I will show is. It says that there are 4 ways of listening. One is I in me. See the outer circle and the inner dot. It is habitual. I am within myself, like this participant. Think about the participant. Think about yourself. There are many participants who know theory U a little bit, or maybe they know leadership a lot. And they are looking for what is common. They are looking for what they already know. Second is I in it. See, the I is then going out of this circle. In this science, the focus on science, objective knowledge is I in it. When we are looking for a knowledge that is absolutely true, irrespective of the person. There are many persons in this among the participants who are looking for objective truth. What is theory U? Oh, theory U means this U shape. There is a concept called presencing. Okay, these are the objective facts. They're looking for these objective facts. Third is relational, empathic. I in you. Then I is no longer within me. It is in you. It is empathy. Maybe some of the participants are trying to understand. Some of them may know me also. Okay, he is a government guy. Okay, he's speaking about leadership. Let's see how he perceives leadership. The curiosity may be at that point of time. Their me is important. That I am the person who is talking. And fourth level, that is the highest level, it is called generative. When I in now. When you are not holding on to your previous knowledge. Habitual is out. You are not looking for any external objective truth. That is also out. The person who is speaking, that is also not important. That is out. When you are completely present in the session, in any session, in any situation, this can be applicable. And these are all barriers. Your knowledge, your perception about the person who is speaking, your perception about reality, these are all actually barriers for the inner knowing to emerge. So generative learning or listening is when you are removing all the barriers and allowing the inner knowing to emerge. We will see some examples also. Now the purpose that presencing happens in the bottom of theory U, the U shape. When we are at the surface, we are in the level 1 of listening. I in me. Second, we are concentrating on factual aspects. It is better than I in me. It's I in it. Then empathic, I can relate with the other person. But when we are able to listen in the 4th level, then we can reach the bottom of theory U. And we will see other things also, open mouth, open heart, and open will in the next slide. When we cross the threshold from empathic to generative listening, our listening becomes holding space for bringing something new into reality that wants to be born. Think about this. Suppose you are cooking something. The leader is not the person who is cooking, who is studying the things. No. The leader is that bowl on which things are being cooked. It's a holding space. A true leader becomes a holding space for future to emerge. This can happen in yourself also. Our ego, our knowledge, our prejudices prevent that inner knowing, that future to emerge. Think about yourself. 50 years ago, or 40 years ago, or 30 years ago, you are a single cell zygote. In that single cell, today's blueprint was there. Then we grew up and became this, like this. If we get adequate nutrition, this is the physical, tangible me. But apart from that physical me, no one interfered. Think about that. When we are physically growing up, no one interferes in our growth. But when we grow intellectually, psychologically, then interference starts coming. I want to be that, I want to do that, I want to become that. These wants are externally created by seeing the media or some senior person, mentor, but we never allow our inner blueprint to emerge. Again, I will take the example of Buddha, Gandhi, and Mandela. They listened to their heart. They reached the bottom portion of theory U, where our authentic self lies. Now, how to reach that authentic self? But before that, this is actually some theoretical thing. I think this is not that much important, but still, think about learning. Initially, it was teacher-centric. Then it became test-centric. It is at present, it is partially testing-centric. We are concentrating on the mark sheet, not on the learning. But in training, we are making it learner-centric. Now, 4th, that generative listening stage of learning will be cooperative. When we co-create learning, learning is also co-creating. When the teacher or the facilitators becomes the space, holding space to learning to emerge. That is the 4th level of learning. Sorry. In theory U, the shape will be repeated many times. There are 3 movements. First is observe, observe, observe. Immerse yourself in the situation. Don't judge. It is like brainstorming. Don't judge. Then retreat and reflect. Allow the inner knowing to emerge. Then act in instant. Now think about Gautam Buddha. He observed the miseries of human being. Then he retreated and reflected. That is meditation. It took long time. But after that, the inner knowing emerged. And then he acted as the instant. He started preaching. among the participants who are creative. They know this process. Creative people, many groundbreaking discoveries happened like that. We all know that Benjing ring, the structure of Benjing. Kekulé discovered that. He observed, he was immersed in that problem, then he slept. And he dreamed of a serpent eating his own tail. And the idea of Benjing ring came. So see, if you allow your inner knowing to emerge, it will emerge. But our conscious thinking prevents that, prevents our inner knowing to emerge. Again, 7 points. The first was 3: observe, retreat and reflect, action instant. And this 7 is downloading, then seeing with fresh eyes. Downloading means forget about, it is past. Forget about the past. Start seeing with fresh eyes, sensing from the field, and most important, presencing, connecting to source. In next slide, we will show that how to connect with the source. Presencing is the actually heart of theory U. Then crystallize, prototype, perform. So far, the right side of the theory is concerned, we initially, what we think, we plan. There is vision, mission, objective, goal, everything is planned. But Otto Sharma says that you should not plan that much. You hold the space to co-create the future. You facilitate the future to emerge. Whatever you are thinking of doing, in future, there is always that possibility is already there. Without imposing your own plan on future, try to sense the future and help the future to emerge. And he stressed on the word co-create. If you want to co-create a painting, in a team we co-create a painting actually. We can build a bridge, we can build a painting, we can make a painting, or we can make anything. But let it co-create. Don't define everything. That prevents other members from contributing. Let others to contribute. And as a leader, you hold the space so that everybody can contribute at their optimum level. Then the best thing will emerge. Then suspending, redirecting, letting go. This is actually very difficult. When you are suspending, downloading or past patterns, you are actually what we call unlearning. Then we are trying to see with fresh eyes, which will redirect our vision, our thinking to new direction. If you can let go everything, this of the left-hand side, then you are able to connect to the source, and then the future will emerge. Letting comes. Stress on the word. You are not creating the future. When we say that we create our future, that is our ego. But when we are allowing the future to emerge, letting come, then enact and embody. Ego is no longer there. You are the holding space. Through you, it is not you are creating the future, but through you, future is being created. What prevents us from connecting to the source? Again, Sharma says that three voices prevents us from connecting to our source. One is voice of judgment, VOJ, then VOC, voice of cynicism, and third is voice of fear. Think about every great leader. They disregarded these three things. Whoever did something groundbreaking. Voice of judgment closed our mind. Think about the basic system of brainstorming. In brainstorming, we do not judge new ideas. Why? Because otherwise we will not be able to generate new ideas. We will not be able to think out of the box. Voice of cynicism closes our heart. Voice of fear closes our will. I'm sure among our participants and among many others, most of us, we suffer from fear. We think, what will happen if I do that? Again, think about Gandhiji, Nelson Mandela, or Gautam Buddha. They sacrifice everything, but that is not sacrifice. In our eyes, it's a sacrifice, but it is not sacrifice. They are listening to their heart. Because why they are listening to their heart? Because they are connected to their source. They are connected to their authentic self. In our case also, like our ordinary mortals, we are also, sometimes we get connected to our own self, but we did not act on that. Why? Because of fear, because of judgment. No, it will not look good. Oh, I will fail. What people will say? These are the voice of cynicism, judgment, and fear that prevents us from becoming what we can potentially become. It prevents us to become the best version of ourselves. How to overcome this? So whenever I'm talking about voice of judgment, voice of fear, and voice of cynicism, these are negative terms. These are the barriers. So what virtues we should cultivate to overcome the barriers? There are three: curiosity, compassion, courage. Again, think about Gautam Buddha. When he was not suffering. When he saw the suffering of others, curiosity propelled him to go out to search for the answers. Compassion connected him to the person who are suffering. It is not that he is suffering, but others suffering make him suffer. That is compassion. And third is courage. He did not think what he is leaving behind. Same is true for Mandela or Gandhiji or any other leader. They have curiosity, compassion, courage. And these three virtues can be practiced anywhere, especially in decision making. It may be a corporate decision, it may be your own life decision, it may be choosing your life partner, it may be choosing your career. In any small or big decision making, you can use these three: curiosity, compassion, and courage. Open mind means no judgment, allowing mind of the universe to operate through you, through our thinking. Open heart means no cynicism, allowing the heart of the collective to operate through our feelings. Open will means no fear, allowing the intention of the emerging future to operate through our actions. See how the framing of the words. I is not present. The future is emerging through me. The mind of the universe is operating through me. So, to reach the bottom of the U, to reach presencing, we have to connect to the deepest source of ourself and will. And only then we can become the best version of ourselves. It is not only me. Think about a team. Everything has best potential, highest potential. Every organization has some highest potential. If you want to reach that potential, you have to reach that bottom of you. Hold the space, observe, sense, then presencing. In presencing, you are, whatever you have observed, you are absorbing. And don't think, let your inner knowing to emerge. Let it help the emerging future to come. Let it come, then enacting, embody. I think we can open for question answer. Peterson.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Before we move into the question and answer session. Would request the feedback from all our participants. We'll be running a poll right now. I request all the participants to kindly share your feedback out here. And while you all are doing so, would request you all to also share your questions pertaining to our today's session. So while our participants are giving the feedback, we have our first question from Mr. Tushar. He says, which are the key principles of U theory? Why the need of innovating this theory was felt as a new change management method?
The need was felt because there was widespread leadership failure. That is the symptom. So whenever we are analyzing leadership, we are focusing what leaders do. Sometimes we focus on their traits also, but we never focus on the blind spot that is the core from which the leader operates. Think about whenever we are analyzing Gandhiji or any other leader, we see his products like Satyagraha, non-violence, civil disobedience, etc. But we never focus on why he did so. We never focus on the inner core. That is why there is a blind spot, and that is why we need theory U to touch that blind spot, to see that blind spot. And another question was?
Yeah, next in the next question you're talking of, or in the same?
Same question, but first one. I think I answered the second one.
Which are the key principles of U theory? That's the first question. Why the need of innovation?
Yes, it's okay. I answered the why.
Yes.
Now the first
of U theory.
Yes. First principle is that presencing. The theory U actually is based on presencing. Presencing means you are in the present and you are sensing. What you are sensing? You are sensing the emerging future. You are not knowing the emerging future, you are sensing. That means that thinking, conscious thinking process is not there. One is presencing. Second is that three: voice of cynicism, voice of judgment, or voice of fear. To overcome those three, we need to inculcate three virtues: curiosity, compassion, and courage. This is, to my understanding, the key principles of theory U. Yeah, any other question?
Yeah, our next question is from Akash Patel. How do we evaluate the effectiveness of this method?
If you search Google, again, there are many experiments being done throughout the world on theory U. There, in fact, MIT and Harvard, they run leadership course on theory U, and they are applying these principles. Have you heard that massive open online courses? This is one of the result of theory U. There are many other experiments. You can just search the net. I would like to stress on the point. If you want to apply theory U in your own organization or on your family or on your own self, then try to understand the perspective, the way theory U sees leadership. Number one, it emerges. Leader is a holding space. He is not directing. He is not visualizing the future. Consciously not visualizing the future. The vision of the future emerges within ourselves. If we connect with our authentic self. Yes, Peterson.
Yeah, that takes us to our next question. That's from Mr. Bharat. How theory U is different from the conventional change management methods?
Totally, because in change management method, we first think about what are the changes that we want to bring about. And that Kurt Lewin's typical method is there. In theory U, the leader does not direct or envisage the change that is going to happen. He is just acting as a facilitator. The whole team are co-creating the change or co-creating the future. Whenever you co-create the future, change automatically happens. So the focus is not on the change, but the focus is on the future. And what is future? Future is for any organization, team, family, or as individual human being. Future is the highest possible self, the highest possibilities. Think about our organization. A dictated future, a dictated change is not change. But the highest possibility of the team, that is the future. And as a leader, we have to you have to hold the space so that the highest possibility can be achieved by the team or organization.
Yeah, well answered, sir. Our next question is from Vanita. Is this model of leadership applicable across all the industries or for a particular set of organizations? How can we implement this method? What is the step-by-step process or guide? So there are 3 questions in it.
Yeah, I think it can be it is applicable everywhere. Again, to know the examples, you can search the net. There are many experiments being done throughout the world. May not be much in India, but in other countries, developed as well as underdeveloped countries, there are experiments on theory U, and it is successful. The step-by-step approach, again, it is whenever I prescribe the step-by-step approach, I'm defeating the very purpose of, I'm going against the tenets of theory U. If think about in your situation, in your industry, or in your team, what could be the best possibility and how we can reach that best possibility. Think about that. Whenever at certain point of time, every individual present here was a single cell organism. Then we developed to this point. Because we got nutrition physically. The same is applicable for any organization or for any individual. Every situation has some highest possibility. As a leader, we have to ensure that highest possibility emerges. The steps are here, that suspend your judgment, allow your inner knowledge to emerge. The process is you have to overcome 3 barriers: voice of judgment, voice of fear, voice of cynicism. Do it in a community, in your team, collectively. Theory is not a single person dictating others, where everyone is playing their part and then a product comes. Yes, Peterson.
Thank you so much, sir. Dive deep in the inner you, and the 3 C's are the trait of a great leader. Great session, full of learning. Thank you so much. I'm sure our participants have had an insightful session full of learning. For those who were not able to join our today's session, they can access the slides and recording which are available on YouTube. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. I request all our participants to like and share these along with your colleagues, friends who may be interested. Before we conclude with our today's session, we would also want to thank all the association members, Geisha, LinkedIn Local, and NASSCOM COE for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about these associations, I request you to kindly visit the link provided in the chat window. Thank you once again, Mr. Dutt, and our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next all of its kind, a new exciting series, To the Point, on the 4th of December 2020. Request you to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. That's it from us today. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.